how to negotiate a big, fat, juicy, profitable monster wholesale deal without losing it. That's the topic of today's show. This is Todd Toback, and I want to welcome you to the No Limits Real Estate Investing Podcast. If you're looking to make a ton of money wholesaling real estate, then this is your place. I've got a special gift for you. If you have not been to our website, head on over to www.nolimitsrealestatinvesting.com/script. And there you could download the very same script that we've used in our business to lock up over 1,300 real estate wholesale deals. Okay. The very same one. I'm going to give it to you absolutely free. If you've ever wondered what to say, how to say it, when to say it on that initial phone conversation, right? Now you got it. No excuses. Go to nolimitsrealestatinvesting.com/script to download your free copy today. So let's go ahead and jump into today's question.
Hey, it's Eddie, Southern California. So, I have a quick question, Todd. I made an offer last week on a property that I called on. I actually called on a different property, asked him if he had any other properties. He sent me to this other one that was really bad in here in Los Angeles. And we talked a little bit about the property. He didn't know what he wanted as far as price. I couldn't get any comps right away, so I told him I'd give him a call back within 48 hours so I could do some research on the property. It was a little bit hard to comp. But anyhow, when I called him back, I went through the details of the conversation. And at the very end, I said, you know what, I just don't think my offer is going to work for you. Have you considered, doing, getting a real estate agent, maybe putting some money into it and whatnot? And he goes, you know what? Absolutely not. I'm not putting any money into it. He started talking a little bit more why. And then he goes, out of curiosity, what is your offer? And I told him I'd be in the ballpark of $500,000. Property would be worth, $750 to $800 fixed up and whatnot. So I go, yeah, it'd be in the ballpark of 500. It's probably not going to work for you though. And he goes, you know what? That's interesting. Let me talk to my brother and my sister because we're liquidating our properties. Our father passed away and we have a lot of properties that we got to sell. So I said, great. He gives me, I ask him like, how long will it take to talk to your sister, your family? And he's like, give me about, a couple of days. I'm like, okay, so I think this was Monday. I was like, I made a commitment for Wednesday. Called him Wednesday. He was like, sure. So I called him Wednesday and he never answered. I kept leaving him messages and whatnot. Anyhow, yesterday I finally get a hold of him and he goes, well, the property is just, we're looking more at 600. We're probably going to list the property. And I asked him, well, I'm not sure if I could do it, but is there a number that we can maybe meet in the middle of, if you think about, after you list it and closing costs and whatnot, you're probably going to net somewhere around 550, 560. I'm at 500. Is there any way we can meet in the middle? And then he goes, I don't know. I'm really in the middle of something right now, but he's like, can I call you back? So that's how the conversation ended yesterday. And my question is, should I just send him an offer on written paper or should I be calling him like every week, every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks to kind of see where he's at? He needs to sell the property. It's in bad shape, but yeah.
Man, great question, Eddie. First of all, I want to say this is near and dear to my heart because after the show, Eddie got in touch with our office and decided to joint venture with us on this deal. And so we are going to partner on it and make a ton of money. So be like Eddie. If you want to partner with us, by the way, in Southern California or Florida, on a single family house, you can email support@nolimitsrealestatinvesting.com, support@nolimitsrealestatinvesting.com to find out how you can partner. By the way, we are open to partnering on deals across the country. So if you've got something compelling and you said, hey, you know what, I want to check that out, go ahead and do that. So support@nolimitsrealestatinvesting.com. And so love this question from Eddie. So I got a little more insight into this deal, but if you listen to this deal, right, I love this because this is before Eddie locked this up. And so Eddie here is meeting with a seller. He's motivated. By the way, this is in probably one of the most competitive markets in the country. And Eddie's there. He almost locks the deal up and he pushes a little bit harder. And all of a sudden the seller gets slippery and slips away. And those slippery sellers sometimes, man, sometimes you want to push and sometimes you don't. And so sometimes we're scared to negotiate with the sellers because they will sometimes ghost you, or they slip away. So one thing I want to point out that is important when you're negotiating hard is that when you're talking to a seller and all of a sudden you agree to their price and their terms and you give them everything you want and you say yes, 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 you are going to actually make them more nervous than if you don't negotiate. Okay, they're going to feel like they are leaving too much money on the table if they don't negotiate. Think about this, right? You go buy a car, and all of a sudden the seller, the salesperson says, "Hey, this car is going to be $45,000," and you say, "I'll give you 40," and all of a sudden they go, "Sold." You walk out of there, you drive off the lot. You're not feeling good about the deal that you just got. You're thinking, "Wow, I should have negotiated harder. I should have gotten a better deal." Now imagine all of a sudden you go on the lot and the thing's $45,000 and you say, I'm going to do 40. And the car salesman says, there's not a lot of inventory right now. I really don't want to negotiate on this, but I'll come down to 44,500, right? And you're like, ugh. I don't know. And you're like, I really, really, really need 40. And the salesperson says, well, I'll give you 44,250, but that's it. And you're like, oh, I really, really, really want to pay 43,000. And the salesperson says, okay, look, I'll do 44, 10. And you guys shake hands. I'm telling you right now that you will feel better driving off that lot paying $44,010 than if the salesperson would have said $40,000 on the spot. Why? Human nature, right? We love to fight, and we're going to value something more if we fight for it. The friction causes the deal to stick. And so I can tell you, Eddie, that you negotiating here was good, right? It was good. And ironically, Eddie did get the deal. It sounds like the seller ghosted you a little bit, went away, right? But eventually they agreed to your terms. So what I'm going to do in this episode is teach you, if you're listening to this, and Eddie, thank you for sending that in, to how to negotiate and also get the deal at a great price while making it stick. Very important. You're going to have to learn how to negotiate, especially if things get a little tense. You're going to have to be okay with possibly losing a deal, right? To make sure you get those big, fat, juicy deals. So what I'm going to do is I'm always going to encourage you to negotiate hard. Now, if you've got a great deal and you've got $100K profit on the table, I'm not going to tell you to negotiate for another 100. Right? But you definitely want to negotiate for another 100 and, another $3,000 to make that stick. So you want to always negotiate so the seller values the transaction, values the deal they got, even if it's $1,000, right? And make sure that deal sticks. Now, if you notice how Eddie was talking about that hesitancy, right? Where the seller was like, I got to talk about that. What you want to do is if you sense that, you want to slow the negotiation down and build a little rapport, right? So I would have said, hey, I get it. I know that I'm asking for a little bit than you're asking for. And by the way, there's no pressure, right? You see how I pull away? If this is not a fit, like I totally get it. And, I know that I'm asking to buy the property for a little less than you're asking. Can you tell me a little bit more about how you're going to make this decision and your hesitancy there? So I call out the hesitancy. I take away the pressure. I back away. You see how I did that, right? And now the seller's like, okay, this guy is not like jamming this lowball offer down my throat, but I'm going to say, hey, it sounds like maybe you got a little uncomfortable. Did I say something wrong? I get it. I'm not, not here to force you to, do anything, even if I'm not your best option. And then let the seller talk and release that tension, right? Let the steam out. And let them talk. And now they're going to talk about the siblings or the brother or the inherited property. And they're going to start talking about all the objections. And so if there's a little tension on price, what I'm going to do now is I'm also going to change the topic a little bit and find out about more what's going on. Because we found out later that actually this is a hoarder house, right? So I would have focused the the conversation now to how they want the transaction to close, the siblings, the decision-making process, the timeline, maybe any kind of post-occupancy agreement, right? If they need to live in the property afterwards, I'm going to go to all of that, even though I created that tension. And I'm going to try to check off all those items. Check, 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 check. And I'm going to try to relieve that stress and uncertainty around all the other items around the sale while leaving the price over here so that now they feel like, wow, I really want to do business with this person. This person sounds easy, and the only thing that we've got to work out is price. So I'm going to just handle all that so that they love me. I'm going to pull away, right, so that they don't feel pressure, right? I'm going to ask a question and say, hey, by the way, this is another good question. What else is going through your mind right now, right? Just, kind of tell me what you're thinking, and then let them talk and pour. Okay, remember there is no, pressure, right? This is your decision-making process. I'm just here to go from there. Now, here's the good news. Eddie did get the deal. He did get his price. There's a huge spread, and we partnered with him. And you can do these deals too, right? If you're trying to negotiate, the spreads of $20 or $30 or $40,000 can make or break the deal. It could also make or break your year. If you're doing a dozen deals a year, right? $20,000 or $30,000 on each deal is $360,000 that goes right to the bottom line. It's the difference between making no profit and making $300,000 profit in your pocket. So let's review. Number one, it is your responsibility to negotiate hard, or the seller is gonna back away, right? Remember, if you sense hesitancy, that's okay, right? You still want to negotiate, but you do want to call that out, right? You can pull away, take off the pressure, say, Mr. Seller, I get it. I'm not here to make you do anything. It's okay if we just talk a little bit further, right? And then if you feel that tension around price, like you're losing the seller, right? Then shift the conversation to the other parts of the sale, right? You want to make them want to do business with you, right? Will you take the house as is? Will you let them maybe live in the property for 30 days? Will you help them through the probate process, right? Will you help them with a tenant that's in the property? I don't know what that is, but switch topics there so that you are now getting these little splinters that are in their mind. And now you become their only option, right? Build some rapport, right? And then after you're like, check, 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 then go back to price, right? There's already been some friction around here. Decide the decision-making process, right? And you are probably going to get this deal. Now, if you are looking to partner with us, right, like Eddie, go to support@nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com. Excuse me, not go to, but send an email and say, partner, tell us about the deal. We would love to partner with you, do a deal with you. Our markets are in Southern California and Florida, but if you have a deal someplace else, we will look at it. Also, mobile home parks. We love to partner with our listeners. All right. Hope you enjoyed today's show. Remember, go ahead and download that script. Go to nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/script to get your free copy today. And man, I hope you just do a big, fat, juicy deal. I would love to hear from you. I will talk to you on the next episode.